Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you all so much for joining Amtrak Vacations as today we feature our National Park Series Part 3, Yellowstone, Yosemite, and beyond. Thank you all so much again for joining ourselves here today. First and foremost, let me just take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Jim Marini, and I am proudly your host here today. And today's presentation is scheduled to be about 45 minutes, give or take. So I hope you can join me all the way through. I will save time at the end to answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to type those away as I go throughout today's presentation. Also want to encourage each and every one of you, any exciting trips that you see here today during our presentation, or certainly any others on our website, and that website's listed down in the bottom right-hand corner, which is www.amtrakvacations.com. Folks, pick up that phone, give us a call, or contact your local travel agent. We got some exciting news to share with each of you today, and I'm going to start out right here, right now, sharing that news. Now, folks, we only have 2 days left, all day today, as well as all day on Friday, November 29th. So, any exciting trips that you see, if you upgrade to a roomette on any package consisting of hotel, sightseeing, meals, as much as you would like to add in any package, if you upgrade to a roomette, we're going to take $200 off per couple. And if you upgrade to a bedroom, we're going to increase that a little more and take $300 off per couple, okay? And all you need to do is just pick up that phone. We're open today until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we are closed in observance of Thanksgiving, which, by the way, for all of my American friends joining ourselves here today, I wish you and your family a very, very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. But we will be open again on Friday, November 29th, all day from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until actually 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you have up until the end of the day this Friday to take advantage of these great savings, okay? So wherever you have dreamed of going anywhere in the United States, if it is Yellowstone, Yosemite, or any of the other beautiful national parks or great cities that we have to offer, now's the time to book your trip. And again, you can call us or contact your local travel agent. As I mentioned, any questions that you have, please feel free to type those away. That is located on the right-hand side of your screen, okay? Also, we do have a flyer, a handout for you to download if you'd like. So please feel free to download the handout also on the right-hand side that highlights some of our most popular national parks that you could take a look at as well. All right. So without further ado, everybody, let's get started. So where does Amtrak Vacations travel to? You know, I always love showing this map at the beginning of all of my presentations, everyone. And I've been with our company about 7 years, and it's still always one of the first things that I show. Do you know Amtrak last year, just last year alone, everyone, Amtrak had over 31 million people that traveled on board the train, over 31 million people. So we always mention to all of our fantastic travelers around the world, if we were actually an airline, we would be the fifth largest airline in all of the United States. Now, interestingly enough, Amtrak travels to 46 out of the 48 states within the continental United States. In fact, the only two states the train does not physically go through are the states of South Dakota and Wyoming. So if you look at all those beautiful, colorful lines, folks, that's where the train goes. So for any of you that maybe don't like to fly or would prefer not to fly, maybe some of you just want to stay local in the United States. If you live here in the U.S. or Canada, maybe you're looking for something different. We definitely can help you with all of your rail vacation aspirations. Also, if you look above the map of the United States, you can see a nice map of Canada. You actually have the ability as well, everyone, if you wanted to extend your trip, as long as it starts or ends in the United States and travel up into Canada, our partner is Via Rail, which is the national train system of Canada. So with Amtrak Vacations, as the old saying goes, we're truly a one-stop shop to put together your entire rail vacation of a lifetime. Not only the train portion, but also including hotels, lodges, sightseeing tours, meals, activities. And as you'll see today, we got some fantastic packages for you to choose from. Now, what makes Amtrak vacations different? These are the top 6 reasons down at the bottom, everyone, that have been given to us that we've compiled over the last few years. All the way to the left-hand side, it is a bucket list experience. I can't tell you how many times I travel throughout the United States, get a chance to meet so many of our great travelers like yourselves joining us here today that say to me, Jim, this has always been on our wish list, our bucket list. Also, freedom and flexibility. Folks, we have daily departures throughout mostly all of the trains in the United States. We also have lots of options as far as train stations. There's over 500 Amtrak stations that you could start and or end your trip. You also have the ability to customize and create your own rail journey, your own rail experience, which I'll get to in just a minute. The third point is hassle-free. Did you know you can arrive at any of the Amtrak stations, folks, as close in as only 45 minutes to an hour before departure? Last time I checked, most of the airlines, whenever we fly, we have to arrive a minimum of 2 to 3 hours before departure. The fourth point is we are the official tour operator of Amtrak. So again, what does that mean for all of you? We not only book all of your rail, but we also book any of your hotels, lodging, sightseeing, meals, activities, okay? We make it nice and easy for you. The fifth point is city-to-city service. Now, I'm doing today's presentation based out of the Boston area, and I always love using Penn Station in New York City as an example. Do you know the train station, folks? You are literally within walking distance of Times Square. You're within walking distance of Broadway. The same applies to some of the beautiful national parks. As an example, Glacier National Park. The train station is only a little over 200 steps away from Glacier Park Lodge. So when you see city-to-city service, it's not only city-to-city, it's also city to national destination. We try to bring you into the heart of each of the locations. And the last point, all the way to the right-hand side, there truly is something for everyone. And I love this picture, as you can see here. So whether you're looking to travel on your own, with your children, your grandchildren, we truly have something for everyone. Now, as I mentioned a minute ago, all rail vacations can be customized to start right from your hometown Amtrak station. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning, if any of you do not like to fly, or you'd rather not fly, or you just want to stay local, any trip can start right from your local Amtrak station. All you, again, you need to do is just pick up the phone, give us, or contact your local travel agent or travel advisor, and they'll help you with that. Now, what does customize mean? If you look all the way to the left-hand side, everyone, this is a 5-day, 4-night package, one of our more popular packages out to the Grand Canyon. This one happens to be round trip from Los Angeles, but again, any trip can be round trip right from your local Amtrak station. But as an example, let's use this as an example. 5 days, 4 nights, round trip from Los Angeles, and it goes to the beautiful Grand Canyon. And let's say you want to add an extra night in the Grand Canyon. We can easily do that. And by the way, what you'll learn today, or hopefully get reminded of if you've traveled with us before, is we are able to get space, folks, inside the lodges, inside the national parks. As many of you, I'm sure, are aware, it's very hard to get space inside the lodges. Many of them book a year to 2 years in advance. We could get space. So let's say you want to add an extra night inside the Grand Canyon. Well, we can add an extra night right there in the middle at El Tovar. We also use Maswick Lodge, Yavapai. These are just a few of the most iconic lodges inside the Grand Canyon. And let's say you want to add an extra night in Los Angeles. We can easily do that. What does that equal? That equals your customized vacation. You see the beauty traveling on the train, everyone, is you get to see the country right from the comfort and window of the train. So as promised, I'd like to welcome you all aboard, and we're going to take you to some of our most popular rail vacations out to Yellowstone, Yosemite, and beyond. Now, the first package I want to start out with is one of our top 3 most popular packages that we have to any of the national parks. Folks, this is called our Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. You get 3 fantastic national parks in one package, okay? But what I want to mention is if you look at the map, I'm going to use this as an example, everyone. If you look at the map, this will serve as an example for the other trips that I highlight here today, as well as in our brochure on our website. If you look at the red lines on the map, everyone, that just lets you know that is the train. Okay, those are the train routes. If you look at the red triangle with the number 1, what does that mean? That lets you know that's an overnight on board the train. So as an example, from Chicago to Salt Lake City, you're traveling overnight on the train known as, anybody want to guess? The California Zephyr. Some of you may have been on the California Zephyr or certainly heard of the train. To me, to this day, still one of my top 3 favorite train experiences in all of the United States. But as you can see, that's an overnight journey out to Salt Lake City, where then you spend one night in the great city of Salt Lake City. So wherever you see the round black circles with the number 1 or 2, that just means that's how many nights you're in each of the cities or destinations. Now, again, as I mentioned a little earlier, any trip can be customized. So again, if you want to add extra days at some of these national parks, if you want to maybe have a day less because maybe you can't be away as long or you're trying to stay within a certain price range, we can help you create a perfect customized vacation that you would like, okay? But as you can look at this map, there's multiple opportunities to travel overnight. The first one is on the train again, as I mentioned, known as the California Zephyr. Then from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, that is the train known as the Coast Starlight, which is fantastic. And then the last train is known as the Southwest Chief, and that goes from Los Angeles out to Williams back into Chicago. Now, some of you might be wondering, okay, this trip is round trip from Chicago. Jim, how do I get to Chicago? Okay, very easy, everyone. You have the ability, again, to start right at your local Amtrak station. So on this trip, as an example, we can start you right from your local Amtrak station. So as an example, for any of you, let's say as an example, located in New York, okay, the great state of New York, we can start you right from your local Amtrak station, bring you to Chicago, where then you take advantage and experience this fantastic package. And then when it ends in Chicago, we can bring you right back to your local Amtrak station in New York. The same applies to wherever you're located in the United States. Now, for any of you flying into the States, we pretty much book everything for you except for flights. So if you do want to fly to and from Chicago, it's a great city, of course. There is Midway Airport. You have Chicago O'Hare. You could certainly book your own flights, or again, as I mentioned earlier, and you'll hear me mention throughout today's presentation, you can also book any of these packages through your local travel advisor, your local travel agent, who, by the way, can also book flights for you in addition to the entire package. So whatever way you prefer is the right way. As I mentioned, this visits Salt Lake City. So Salt Lake City, we actually treat all of you for dinner at the Rooftop Restaurant, one of the most iconic restaurants in Salt Lake. Absolutely fantastic. You spend an evening there. Before then, you head up north and you travel into Yellowstone National Park. Now, when you go to Yellowstone National Park, it's actually on a motor coach bus. The train does not physically go up to Yellowstone. It's about a 5 to 6 hour sightseeing journey from Salt Lake City with stops made along the way. Okay, so any restroom, washroom stops made along the way on your way to Yellowstone. Also, time to be able to get a little bite to eat on your own. So it's a nice, comfortable journey up to Yellowstone. Once you arrive in the park, everyone, you'll get there. You'll have that evening at leisure. The next day, you'll have a sightseeing tour of Yellowstone's lower loop. Now, the way it works on all of our national parks is once you arrive in the national park, either for a day or a half a day, you'll have a guided tour with a local tour guide, a local park ranger, and he or she will be with you for a portion of that day or for a full day. as well as you'll have some free time at leisure on your own. All of our trips are independent, so you have the best of what I say both worlds. You have that flexibility to kind of come and go as you'd like during your free time, but then you also have that structure um, to have some tours already included, so you get a chance to really experience the history and learn more about some of these beautiful national parks. Now, not only does this package go to Yellowstone, as I mentioned, it also goes to Yosemite. When you go to Yosemite, that's a full day guided tour from San Francisco, also by motor coach. Why? Because again, the train does not physically go to Yosemite, but we do provide a round trip, full day guided tour to Yosemite before ending in one of the most iconic national parks in all of the world, let alone the United States. And that, of course, is the Grand Canyon. You know, speaking of the Grand Canyon, you know, it's considered to be one of the seven wonders of the world. And actually, speaking of the number seven, over 7 million people visited the Grand Canyon last year. Now, this is a nice treat, everyone, on this package, because again, not only do you have Yellowstone, Yosemite, but you also have the Grand Canyon. And unlike when you go to Yellowstone or Yosemite, where it's a guided bus, a motor coach bus that will bring you to each of those national parks, when you go to the Grand Canyon, has anybody ever heard of the Grand Canyon Railway? We are the largest partner in the world of the Grand Canyon Railway. And what that is, folks, is that is an iconic kind of that Wild West type of flavor train experience that will bring you from Williams, Arizona, right up into the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, the train itself is only about an hour and a half, 2 hours long. It's not a long train ride from Williams to the south rim of the Grand Canyon, but we do include, as you can see on the left-hand side, round trip service in coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway. Now, I am going to encourage all of you to definitely consider upgrading to the dome car or first class on the Grand Canyon Railway train. It just gives you that much more of an authentic experience. The seats are larger. Snacks and refreshments are also included. Don't be surprised if you see a little bit of a Wild West style show, but a lot of fun. Once you get up there, you'll arrive around lunchtime. You'll have a chance to get some lunch, and then you'll have a guided tour in the afternoon known as the Motor Coach Freedom Tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim. But this package, everyone, just a great value. Now, all the pricing you see in today's presentation, as well as in our brochures on our website, pricing is always based in double occupancy, so per person, 2 to a room. Pricing is also based in coach seating with the option to upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom. And with our Black Friday sale going on right now, which I will highlight, and again, there isn't a better time to consider upgrading to a roomette or a bedroom on any of our packages. But as you can see, this trip, 13 days, 12 nights, it is round trip from Chicago. So when you look at the pricing on any package, really the only items not included would just be how you get to and from Chicago. And again, we can easily start any of these trips right from your local Amtrak station, or certainly you could book your own flights or through your local travel agent, as well as if you want to upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom. So keep that in mind. The next package, Yellowstone to Yosemite by rail. I love this trip. Now, if you look at this trip as well, everyone, if you take a look at the map, unlike the previous package that I highlighted to our Grand National Parks, this only includes Yellowstone and Yosemite, and it also starts in one great city, known as the city of Chicago, and it ends in another great city, which is San Francisco. So not all of our packages are round trip from the same city. Some start in one great city and end in another. So again, for those of you who don't mind flying, you could certainly fly into Chicago, where, as you can see, you spend 2 nights. And by the way, in any package that I highlight here, in the major cities, such as Chicago, as an example, you get to choose as well between a 3, 4, or a 5-star, 5-diamond hotel. So as an example, in Chicago, we use the Holiday Inn. So a little more affordable, but great location right in the heart of the city. But we also use the Westin Hotel, okay, located right off Michigan Avenue. We use the Palmer House Hotel, which is even more of an upscale property. So again, depending on your price range, in what hotels you prefer to stay at, you got some great options with us. From there, you then travel overnight again on the train known as the California Zephyr. You spend 2 nights in Salt Lake City before heading north up to Yellowstone, where you also spend 2 nights. Then you board back on the California Zephyr. You have an overnight out to San Francisco, where you spend 2 nights and have a day trip out to Yosemite. By the way, as I mentioned, this trip spends 2 nights in the great city of Chicago, where, as you can see on the left-hand side, we do include a sightseeing hop-on, hop-off tour. So just as an example, with a hop-on, hop-off tour, if you're wondering a little more about how they work, it's really a beautiful way to see the city without needing a rental car or without having to take a taxi. It allows you to get on and off the motor coach bus, and it has stops all throughout the city. And the beauty is you could stay as long or as short as you would like during your hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Chicago. Now, if any of you have been to Chicago, I'm sure you'll agree. And if you haven't, folks, you got to try the deep dish pizza. All right. If you're like me, and hopefully many of you have a similar kind of interest, and that is wherever I travel in the world, let alone here in the United States, whatever city or destination I'm in, I always want to experience the local cuisine. Well, as I'm sure many of you know, whether you've been to Chicago or not, you got to experience that deep dish pizza. How about the Chicago hot dogs, right? Absolutely iconic. Now, depending on when you're going, you might even want to catch maybe a Chicago Cubs game. And again, these are some of the activities you could do on your own at your own free time at leisure. I always recommend, if you like a good comedy show, Second City Comedy Show. Some of the most famous comedians of today and actors and actresses of today actually got their start in Chicago at Second City Comedy Show. Again, these are some extra items you can do on your own, but certainly lots to see and do in Chicago. From there, it's then again off to Salt Lake City, where in this case, we also include a sightseeing tour of Salt Lake City as well as dinner at the Roof Restaurant before traveling north up into Yellowstone. Yellowstone, just absolutely spectacular. One of the most iconic national parks in all of the United States. And when you do travel up to Yellowstone National Park, as I mentioned, you will spend 2 nights in the national park, actually. And what's nice is a lot of the lodges that we stay at, you are there. I mean, you are located either right on the entrance, right outside of the park, or certainly right inside of the park. So just like in any major city that we travel to, that you get a chance to travel to, you get to pick and choose what lodging and or hotels that you would stay at. By the way, Yellowstone became the first national park back on March 1st, 1872, folks. So it's been around quite a long time, and you will certainly get a chance to visit Yellowstone and watch Old Faithful maybe erupt or see one of the geysers. Lots to see and do in Yellowstone. And by the way, Yosemite National Park is certainly no different. And as I mentioned, when you travel to Yosemite National Park, this is actually a full day guided tour from San Francisco. Now, one thing I always mention for any of you that are looking to travel to Yosemite, this is a full day guided tour. It is an early morning departure, but our feeling is if you're going to go to Yellowstone or Yosemite, you want to spend as much time as you can and really experience all that it has to offer. All right, so definitely keep this in mind. And Yosemite, best known for its waterfalls, over 1,200 square miles. Now, this tour itself typically departs from your hotel in San Francisco, typically early in the morning, probably 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you will arrive back in the evening, sometimes 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. But it's a full day guided tour. Your driver, he or she is also your tour guide. So it really is a true full day guided tour. So this package, everyone, again, for those of you who want to specifically focus on Yellowstone and Yosemite, 11 days starting in the great city of Chicago and ending in the great city of San Francisco. Now, today's presentation is Yellowstone, Yosemite, and beyond. So what does beyond mean? It means some of our other fantastic national parks. How about Glacier National Park? Now, similar to Yellowstone and Yosemite, everyone, this national park is also seasonal. So what does that mean? Seasonal means it only operates during a certain time of the year. So with Yellowstone and Yosemite, you can travel pretty much anytime from May, June, all the way until September, October. However, Glacier National Park, you can only travel. This national park, everyone, only operates from the middle of June to the middle to end of September. It only lasts for 4 months. By the way, right now you can book any of these packages up until the end of 2020. All right, so definitely take advantage of the great savings we have and make sure to reserve your space today. Now, this package is pretty fantastic. So I got a little fun question that I want to ask everyone. All right, we got a, by the way, I didn't even mention, we have an absolute fantastic turnout here today joining us. So thank each and every one of you sincerely so much for joining myself and Amtrak Vacation. Certainly for any of my American friends before our very special Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. But here's my fun question. So on the right-hand side of your screen, everyone, in the question box, I'm not going to call anyone out, but let's have a little fun here for a minute. On the right-hand side, who here wants to type in, what is the name of the train that goes from Chicago out to Glacier National Park, out to Seattle? If you want to take a minute, on the right-hand side, everyone, just type in, who here wants to tell me, what is the name of the train that goes from Chicago out to Glacier National Park, out to Seattle? All right, oh, I'm seeing a lot of answers coming through. All right, well, a lot of you are getting it right. That's it. Keep them coming, everyone. And again, I'm not going to call anyone out. Let's just have a little fun. Why not? Son, I'm impressed, everyone. I have to admit, you all definitely have either traveled on Amtrak vacations or you definitely are familiar with the train. So it looks like most of you got it right. So thank you. And thank you all for participating. Um, the name of the train, everyone, is the Empire Builder. The Empire Builder, one of the top 3 most iconic trains in all of the United States. Now, this package, I will say, I had the pleasure of traveling on myself about 2 years ago, and it leaves out of Union Station in Chicago, which, by the way, is an iconic, just absolutely beautiful train station. Marble floors, high ceilings. I mean, just a true authentic. When you think of a beautiful, authentic train station, Union Station in Chicago is definitely one of them, okay, throughout the United States. This train itself, everyone, typically leaves around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, give or take. And then it's an overnight journey, as you can see with the number 1 in a red triangle. And when you are in a sleeper, and I'm going to get to this in just a little bit, many of you may know this, but when you're in a sleeper, whether it's a roomette, a bedroom, a handicap accessible room, a family room, all of your meals are included at no additional charge, everyone, whenever you are booked into a sleeper. So definitely consider to always be in a sleeper if it allows within your budget, because it just adds to the overall experience, but also it includes all of your meals as well. Okay, so I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But when you arrive, you actually arrive in the early evening the following day at Glacier, at the train station in East Glacier, which, by the way, again, is only about 200 steps away from Glacier Park Lodge, where then you spend 3 nights at the lodge before another overnight out to Seattle. Glacier National Park, everyone, there's over 1 million acres at Glacier National Park. Now, what's nice is on one of the days, if you look on the left-hand side, everyone, it says Big Sky Circle Tour of Glacier National Park. So I can tell you firsthand how this operates. It's absolutely fantastic. On one of the days when you're at Glacier Park Lodge, you will get picked up right from the comfort, right of your front doorsteps of Glacier Park Lodge, typically between 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning. They'll pick you up, and then they'll make maybe 2 or 3 other stops along the way into Glacier National Park. Now, the Big Sky Circle Tour, typically it's a red style, we call it jitney bus, only fits about 15 to 16 folks. Your driver, he or she, is also your tour guide. So they make stops all the way along, all throughout visiting Glacier National Park to take pictures, videos, any restroom breaks. You'll also have a stop for lunch at leisure on your own. And then before you know it, you'll get dropped right back off at the comfort of your front doorsteps of Glacier Park Lodge. It's a full day guided tour, and it is fantastic. This tour also includes Seattle, home of the first Starbucks, opened back in 1971, also home to some great rock bands. We do include a sightseeing tour of the city, which is fantastic, as well as admission to the Space Needle and the Chicooley Garden and Glass exhibit. So this trip itself, again, similar to one of the previous packages I showed, where again, it starts in one great city and ends in another. But again, any trip can start right from your own local Amtrak station, and we can bring you right back to your local Amtrak station. So again, if you don't want to fly, we got you covered. If you don't mind flying, again, then you have the ability or flexibility to book your own flights or have your local travel agent, your local travel advisor do that for you. Now, we do have some smaller packages as well. So I want to make sure I mention that. Not all of our trips are a week and a half to 2 weeks long. We do have some getaway packages that are 1 week, that are even shorter. Here's an example of another one. Happens to be, again, round trip from Chicago. This is on the train known as the Southwest Chief, where you spend 2 nights in Williams and then 1 night in the Grand Canyon. But again, any trip you can add extra days. So if you want to spend 2 nights or 3 nights in the Grand Canyon, we can do that. All right. By the way, interesting, a little fun statistic on the Grand Canyon. You know, it's estimated to be up to 6,000 feet deep. Up to 6,000 feet deep. And they say some of the rocks at the very bottom of the Grand Canyon are estimated to be up to 2 billion years old. Pretty fantastic, right? So you can see why it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So as I mentioned, here's a great package. 6 days, 5 nights. Look at that price, everyone. All right. Very, very affordable. Okay, so depending on your price range, depending on how many days you're looking to travel, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Yellowstone, Yosemite, or Glacier National Parks, we have some great getaway packages to all of the 4 different national parks, and any of them can be customized up to the 4 major national parks in the Western United States. Any of them can be customized to start and or end right from your local Amtrak station. So that's what you would see. And again, pricing that you see, look at this pricing, everyone, right? Very, very affordable. And again, pricing is per person, double occupancy, okay? So again, the only item not included with any of these would be how you get to and from the destination or the starting city, as well as if you want to upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom as well. Folks, we have over 40 great destinations and cities all throughout not only the United States, but even up into Canada. So keep that in mind. And again, on any trip, you have the option to upgrade if you choose to a 4 or 5-star hotel or stay at a nice, comfortable, and affordable 3-star property. You have that option however you choose. All right, let's take a look at the train itself, as well as the seating and sleeping accommodation. And again, I see we have some questions that have come through. So again, I will save time at the end to answer any questions that you have. But packing for the train, here's a big highlight, everyone. And many of you may be aware of this, but did you know you can bring up to 2 pieces of luggage per person, up to 50 pounds each, 50 pounds each, and 2 carry-on bags per person. Here's the best part, everyone. I feel like I need a drum roll. Ready? Can you hear this? For free. There is no extra charge to bring 2 pieces of luggage and 2 carry-on bags per person for free. Last time I checked, most airlines, there is a charge, not with Amtrak Vacations. All right, let's take a look at the onboard accommodations. And the first category I'm going to show everyone is our coach accommodations. So definitely keep this in mind, everyone. When you are traveling during the day on board the train and you're in coach seating, I'm going to give you a real exciting highlight right here, right now. You ready, everyone? there are no middle seats on board any of the trains. Folks, 3 weeks ago, I just flew back from Australia. I had a middle seat on an airplane. You can imagine how much I wished that I had a window or an aisle seat. There is two extra large seats on one side. There is two extra large seats on the other side. Everyone on board the train has a fantastic seat, regardless if you're in coach or if you're in a roomette, a bedroom, a handicap accessible room. Everybody has a fantastic seat and view on board the train. Now, as you can see, if you look at this picture, also lots of leg room. There's outlets that you can charge your mobile devices, your iPhones, your iPads, your laptop computer. There's also a nice section above the overhead, as you can see, looking at this picture, to store any of your carry-on bags. They do have a section in the front and back of each of the coach cars to also store any of your luggage. Now, what's included? As you can see, reclining seats, storage for luggage, access to the dining car and sightseeing lounge car. And yes, folks, you can bring your own snacks and food on board the train. Now, you do have plenty of freedom to get out of your seats and move around the train. So I encourage all of you to do that. Go to the lounge car, go to the observation car. All right, maybe have a game of Uno, as I did with my family in February of this year when we went down to Florida. It was absolutely such a fun experience, being able to just relax, spend time together, and meet some of the other fellow travelers. Now, any of you traveling out to these beautiful national parks, certainly traveling overnight on board the train, I'm going to suggest one of two categories, okay? Here we have our roomettes. Roomettes, just so everyone knows, these are our most popular and our most affordable sleeping accommodations on board the train. And again, as of right here, right now, all day today until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as on Friday, this Friday, November 29th, until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our Black Friday sale going on, where if you book or when you book any package and you upgrade to a roomette, we're going to take $200 off per couple, okay? As you can see, if you look at the roomette, everyone, on the left-hand side, it is bunk bed style. Now, what do you not see inside of a roomette? What you don't see inside of a roomette is its own private toilet and shower, okay? Its own private toilet and shower. So no need to worry. Right down the hall, just like you'd have at your own homes, is toilets and showers that are only accessible for people in roomettes and bedrooms, okay? Remember, roomettes are most popular and are most affordable. So let me give you a little recap of what a roomette is. Roomette fits two people, okay? Includes two comfy seats. Now, what you're looking at here in the picture, where the young woman is sitting down, the two chairs during the day face each other. You have the nice big picture window to enjoy the view. By the way, if you're in a sleeper, whether it's a roomette, a bedroom, you also have access to any available coach seating during the day. So if you want to just get out of your room and go sit in another section of the train, you can do that. Only if you're in a bedroom or a roomette or even a handicap accessible room, you have that flexibility. Or you can just enjoy the comfort right from your own roomette, as you can see right here in the picture. In the evening, the two chairs fold down to create the lower bunk bed, and the top bunk folds down from up above the window. It includes outlets, a fold down table. Plus, again, all meals are included from the city you depart from until the city you arrive in when you are booked in a sleeper. Now, you know yourselves the best. If you want your own private toilet and shower inside of your room, then of course you'd want to upgrade to a bedroom. Now, bedroom does have bunk bed style, but it does have its own private toilet and shower inside the room. And one of the differences of a bedroom is it also has room for a small child on the lower bunk bed. So the lower bed is wider than the top bunk bed, giving room for a small child. So as I mentioned, when my family and I, when we traveled down to Florida, we actually had two bedrooms that were adjoining, with a door opened up in the middle. So on some trains, that's actually available. So just ask any of our vacation consultants or ask your local travel agent or travel advisor if that's something you would like. Certainly if you have a family of 5 or you want to just, have two rooms that adjoin each other. Again, some of the trains do allow that. Now, what's included? The same roomette amenities as you can see on the right-hand side. However, it does include an in-room toilet. It does include a sofa that converts into a bed, an armchair, room for 2 suitcases, and a private sink and vanity. But the big highlight, whether you're in a roomette, a bedroom, a family bedroom, or a handicap accessible room, all the meals are included on board the trains. All right. And when you travel out west, out on some of the beautiful routes within the Western United States out to the national parks, whether it's Yellowstone, Yosemite, Glacier, Grand Canyon, you get to order off the menu. Now, when you are in any sleeper as well, you also get first choice as to what time you would like to dine in the evening. And typically they'll offer anywhere from 3 to 4 seatings, okay? The first one starting sometimes at 5 or 5:30 p.m. The last one starting around 8:30 p.m., all right, depending on how booked the train is at that point. I will say most of our trains do definitely fill up, certainly out to the Western United States, because the scenery is just absolutely unbelievable. Now, where can you view any of these trips or certainly any others? Folks, you can go right on our website. It's Amtrak Vacations, all one word, amtrakvacations.com. You can search by destinations. You can also view any previous presentations, online presentations that we've done on our blog, as you can see. For any of you that have any other types of questions on baggage guidelines, meals, Wi-Fi on board, whatever you need, you could search by trip planning. Now, how do you book any of these exciting trips? As I mentioned, folks, just pick up that phone. As I mentioned today, we are only, and I say only, open until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are closing early in observance of Thanksgiving tomorrow. So if you want to get your reservation in early to guarantee your spot on one of these beautiful national parks, pick up that phone, give us a call. You can visit our website, or again, as I mentioned, you can call your local travel agent, your local travel advisor as well. Certainly, if you want to take advantage of some of these great savings. And before I highlight our Black Friday savings, again, I did want to mention we also have what we call our everyday discounts. So for any of you that are 65 or older, you can qualify for up to 10% off on the rail portion of any Amtrak vacation package. Any of you that are looking to travel with your children or grandchildren, if they're between the ages of 2 and 12, folks, this is not a typo. If you look in the middle of the picture right here, they can save up to 50% off on the rail portion of a package, all right? And any military, first and foremost, thank you for your service. You and your guests, your spouse, can save up to 10% also on the rail portion, the rail ticket of a package, depending on where or when you are looking to travel. But the biggest and best thing I can share with all of you right here, right now, today, everyone, is our countdown to Black Friday sale. $200 off for any of you that upgrade on any package to a roomette, okay? $300 off per couple if you upgrade to a bedroom, again, on any package. What does a package mean? It, as long as it consists of the train, a hotel, a sightseeing tour, a meal, activity, as long as it's 3 or more components, that consists of being a package. And as you saw today, we got some fantastic packages. But again, any package can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like, to start and or end wherever you would like. Again, folks, we're open until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, as well as on Friday, November 29th, which is the last day of the sale, from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to take advantage of these great savings. So as I mentioned, again, any questions you have, please feel free to type those away. I see we definitely have a lot of questions that have come in, which is great. Folks, I have one last question for you. So before I open it up to any questions that any of you have typed or will type at the end of today's presentation, I have one question for you. And I'm going to give you a minute or two, okay, everyone? If you can, all right, and I'm not going to call anyone out. If you can, on your question box on the right-hand side, type in what rail vacation destination are you interested in and when? All right, so I'm going to give you a minute or two, everyone. On the right-hand side, again, I'm not going to call anyone out, but just type in what rail vacation destination are you interested in, and when? When are you looking to travel to that destination? So I'll give you a minute or two. Thank you all, everyone. We get a lot of responses. Fantastic. If you'd be so kind to just type those answers away, all right, and we'll just compile that information so we can better help uh, you and your friends, your family plan your next exciting or your first exciting rail vacation of a lifetime. So thank you, everyone. I'm seeing tons of answers coming in. By the way, we have hundreds and hundreds of folks that are joining us throughout today's presentation. So thank you all so much. So again, what rail vacation destination are you interested in and when? All right, perfect, everyone. So keep those answers coming, all right? Before I open it up to any questions that you have typed in, I just want to sincerely say thank you for joining us, everyone. Our number is listed right there in the middle. Again, I am going to open it up in just a minute to some of the questions that you've typed in. As I mentioned, you can call us or you can contact your local travel agent. So with that in mind, all right, I'm going to pull up your questions because I see we've had some questions come in. Hi, Lillian. How are you? Thank you for your kind words. Is this presentation being recorded? Yes, it is, Donald. Absolutely. All right. Next one. Let's see. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Can we make down payments and monthly payments? Yes, absolutely. That's a fantastic question. So all that's due on any package when you book, everyone, is just the initial deposit. And deposits, they range anywhere from only $100 per person to $250 per person on an average. Very minimal. Plus, if you want to purchase our cancellation insurance, which is optional, you have that ability. But once you've put down a deposit, then you have the flexibility to call in to make monthly payments, to make bi-monthly payments if you'd like to. I know I do that myself, everyone, on my own trips. It's just a lot easier. So you also have that flexibility. You would just do it on your own, either through us or through your local travel agent, however you book any trip itself, okay? Thank you, Leslie. Great question. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Let's see. So just going through. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to pull up some of these questions. Okay. All right. Okay, we got a lot of questions over here. Thanks for the comments, everyone. Let's see. I know. Oh, hi, Christina. How are you? I see that there is a train from Emeryville, California to El Portal, California. Can we book that train on its own? So great question, Christina. Yeah, so any of our packages, when you book, you have the ability to book the train with us, including hotel, sites, meals, activities. So yes, you just give us a call or again, you can contact your local travel agent and we can package together any trip that you would like and include as much or as few items as you would like as well. Hi, Lewis. Snacks and drinks included in a roomette or bedroom? Great question, Lewis. So any of you that are booked in a roomette or a bedroom, meals are included. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But any snacks, let's say that you'd get at the cafe car, those are additional on your own. So any of the sit-down service meals when you're in a bedroom or a roomette, those would be all included. But any snacks or drinks outside of that. If it's a cup of coffee, actually they do have coffee available. That's free of charge. But if it was, let's say, an alcoholic beverage on your own in between dinner at the cafe car, that would be additional, or a Diet Coke as an example, or a slice of pizza. Any of the items at the snack car would be additional. But other than that, if you're in a sleeper, which is a roomette, bedroom, or a handicap accessible room, all the meals would be included except for alcoholic beverages. All right, let's see. Hi, David. What options are there for handicap sleeping rooms? Yes. So on all of the overnight long distance trains, certainly going out to the national parks, David, typically they'll have a couple, at least 2 or 3 handicap accessible rooms available in each of the sleeping train cars. And typically there'll be anywhere from 3 to 4 sleeping train cars. So on every sleeping car, there's typically 2 to 3 handicap accessible rooms. So certainly if that is what any of you would like, you just reach out to us or your local travel advisor so we can make sure to secure that room for you. Okay. And by the way, anyone in handicap accessible rooms, you do have the ability, an option rather, to also have your meals delivered to your room if that's easier for you. Okay, so just want to make sure everybody knows of that. Okay, is there Wi-Fi on the train? Hi, Susan, how are you? There is Wi-Fi available, but what I will mention is Wi-Fi is available throughout the major cities in the United States. However, it is not available throughout some of the national parks, the countryside, more of the rural areas. It's just not available. It's not something that the train is able to get. But I always say, even when I went to Florida last year, we were traveling through some of the countryside in the Carolinas, as an example, in Georgia, and that was honestly one of my favorite parts of the trip, because that was when we were just spending time as a family, playing a game of cards, playing a game of Uno. So when it is available, it's free of charge. But really, traditionally, it's more in the major cities. Okay, great question. Thank you. Hi, Rebecca. Handicap accessible room. Can customer come in scooters? Scooters can be allowed. So you would just let any of our reservationists know, or your local travel advisor, and they can store that right there down below in the room, or right outside of it, whatever you prefer. I know they do typically prefer a wheelchair that's is foldable to make it a little easier, but you just let us know and we'll help you any way we can. All right. Great questions and great feedback, everyone. Yeah, lots of interest in Yellowstone, Yosemite. I see some Glacier, Grand Canyon, which is fantastic. And folks, again, as I mentioned, these national parks, they do sell out pretty fast. So that's the beauty, is we are able to get space inside the lodges in the parks when it sells out, typically 1 to 2 years in advance. So this is definitely the key time to let us, or you let your local travel agent know. Okay. As I mentioned, so the parks, okay, a great question from Mary. Best time you suggest for the national park. So the Grand Canyon, everyone, you can go anytime from January through December. That national park operates all year long. So if you're like me and you're in a part of the United States, or a part of the world where it can get a little bit cooler and snowier or rainier during a certain time of the year, then maybe you may want to go to the Grand Canyon during some of those months. As far as Yellowstone and Yosemite, those parks are only open typically from spring, summer, and fall. Glacier is the park that is only open from June to September. So it's only 4 months of the year it actually is open. So keep that in mind. Hi, Lockman. How are you? Are vegetarian meals provided? Yes, you just let us know, or let your local travel agent know. And obviously, as I mentioned again, if anyone is in handicap accessible rooms, you do have that ability to have the meals brought to your room as well. And okay, great question, Lockman. Is alcoholic beverages allowed on board the train? So here is the answer, everyone. That's a great question. So as an example, my family, my wife brought a bottle of wine. So here's how it works. If you are in coach seating on board the train, everyone, you cannot bring any alcoholic beverages on board the train. So let me repeat that. If you're in coach seating, alcoholic beverages are not allowed. However, if you are in a sleeper, if you are in a bedroom, a roomette, a handicap accessible room, you are allowed to bring your own alcoholic beverages on board the train. However, it does need to be consumed. Whatever you consume does need to be consumed from the privacy of your own room. Okay, you can't bring it with you, as an example, to dinner, but you can bring your own bottle of wine, as an example, only if you are in a sleeper. So great question, Lockman. Yes, absolutely. All right. Let's see. As I mentioned, yeah, good point, Marianne. Some of the Wi-Fi, again, when you travel throughout some of the national parks, some of the countryside, wireless, unfortunately, it's just very spotty and many times is not available. But I say this so sincerely, everyone, even if I didn't work at Amtrak Vacations, and I hope all of you can definitely appreciate where I'm saying this, is sometimes isn't that the point of traveling out to the beautiful national parks? Isn't that kind of one of the points of traveling on board the train, is to see more, to experience more, right? We don't get that feeling when we're flying because it doesn't matter where we are in the world, we're seeing clouds, right? That's the beauty. So I will tell you, even from my own experience, where I'm accustomed to being online at all times, not only for work, but just in general, along with my children, there was something so very special about not having wireless available in the beautiful national parks, out traveling through some of the countryside down on our way to Florida. And I know many of you will appreciate the same type of experience, right? Why not take the road less traveled? That's what you could do with Amtrak Vacations. Thank you, Marianne, for your nice compliments. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Okay, we got another question from Lockman. Hi, Jim. What expenses are we responsible for when we book these vacations? Great question, Lockman. So on any of the trips that I highlighted here today, any trip that you want to customize on your own, or any trip on our website, or any trips any of our vacation consultants suggest, or your local travel advisor, really the only items not included would just be how, if you want to upgrade, let me say that, if you want to upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom. And again, folks, I feel like I got to go back just real quick because I think this is such a great special that I don't want you to miss out on. Again, if you've ever dreamed of traveling on board the train, or you want to make another rail experience of a lifetime, this is the time to take advantage of these savings with our Black Friday sale going on. Again, $200 off per couple if you upgrade to a roomette, $300 off per couple if you upgrade to a bedroom. So keep that in mind. So really, that would be the only items, that along with any meals that you would have that's not included. So typically we try to include a few of the meals, but we do like to give you your own flexibility to eat as much or as little as you want, to go where or when you would like to eat at any of the destinations. All right, but we do include some sightseeing, some tours, obviously hotel accommodations, and also traveling on board the train. So really try to make it as easy as possible for all of you. Really, with the exceptions of booking flights, is really one of the only things that we don't do, which again, you have the flexibility to book on your own or through your local travel advisor as well. Oh, we got another question that just came in from Steve. How much are deposits? Deposits, again, average anywhere from only $100 to $250 per person. And also the optional cancellation insurance, that allows you, anyone, if you do decide to purchase that, to cancel for any reason up until 12 p.m. business day prior, and you'll get a full refund back, minus in the cost of a future travel voucher, minus the trip insurance protection. All right, let's see. Oh, great question, Lockman. Is there a price difference if I book through my local travel agent? There is absolutely no price difference whatsoever. If anything, booking through your local travel advisor or travel agent, if you decide you also want to fly either round trip or one way, they also have the ability to book that for you in addition to the package. So there is absolutely no price difference at all, whether you call us or your local travel agent. All right. Hi, Biaja. How are you? What if you are traveling alone? Biaja, we have about 20% of our travelers, okay, 20, about 20% of all of our travelers are single travelers. So we have tons of folks that travel as single travelers. There is a price difference, obviously, because single rates are always going to be a little bit more than double rates, but we absolutely are more than happy to help you along, as well as your local travel advisor. Lockman, thank you. Again, what is the cost of travel insurance? Travel insurance, it depends on the length of the tour. It could be as minimal as $100 up to $200 per person, depending on the length of the tour. And again, it is optional, but it does allow you that flexibility if you had to cancel, to get a full refund in the form of a travel voucher towards your next exciting trip. Okay. David, we just had another one come in. Do you travel from St. Paul, Minnesota to Churchill, Manitoba? So as I mentioned, David, what's nice is any of our trips will or have the flexibility to combine with Via Rail, which goes up into Canada. So to answer your question, yes, I'm not as familiar with Churchill, Manitoba, but I do know that we do go up into some of those great areas with Via Rail. But any of our vacation consultants can let you know if that can work. And depending on when you're looking to go, will also depending on the pricing as well. But yeah, absolutely, give us a call or your local travel advisor. That's a routing I know I have heard requested in the past. So because we have the flexibility of partnering with Via Rail, we can help you with that. All right, let's see. All right, so with that in mind, and Biagio, let's see, why is it more for one person if you are traveling in coach? Yes, great question. So anytime traveling with Amtrak Vacations, it'd only be more per person if you're in a sleeper. Coach seating is the same price. So if you are traveling in coach seating, whether it's one person or two people, coach would be the same pricing. It's only if you're in a sleeper, because you would have one room and you'd have one person in one room versus two people sharing a room. An thing, obviously, if anyone were to travel on a cruise, it's always going to be more as a single if you're traveling in an actual room on board the train. But coach seating, Biagio, you're absolutely right. It's the same price whether you're traveling as one person, two, or three on board in coach seating. It's only if you're in a roomette, a bedroom, or a handicap accessible room where the pricing would be a little bit more for a single traveler versus traveling as a double. Okay. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Yes. Thanks for your comments, everyone. I'm just scrolling through. Thank you for your kind words. Folks, we got a lot of interest here on some of these fantastic national parks. So more than anything, certainly for, again, all of my American friends joining us here today, I wish you, your friends, your family a fantastic Thanksgiving. Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation as much as I enjoyed presenting. I know we went a little bit over time, but I wanted to make sure to help answer any questions that you had. So with that in mind, everyone, sincerely, thank you all so much for joining us. Our number is listed in the middle. Again, you have the flexibility to also book through your local travel advisor. Whatever way you choose is the right way. But I just wanted to say, on behalf of Amtrak Vacations, thank you all so much. I wish you, your friends, your family a great rest of the day, a great week and weekend, and we look forward to having each and every one of you on board soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.